That could be a great cold open actually. I may just do that. Sick. So COVID-19's made a mess of pretty much everything, really, but there are ways that you can adapt to the situation for your small business. I'm Cal McMillan, I'm a photographer and digital marketer, and this is how I use photography, video and social advertising to help the Kip Chippy sell a whole lot of pizzas. Just before we jump into the main thrust of the video though, you can follow me on social media if you would like to see some of these things I'm talking about without having to hear my horrific voice. I'm about at Cal McMillan Photo on pretty much everything except for LinkedIn, where you can find me at Cal McMillan if you too also like to sell out. When the virus that shall not be named, that's good, right? That's one for the Harry Potter fans out there. When the virus that shall not be named struck, if you were a takeaway, you were probably better placed than your average restaurant to deal with the situation, but you are still going to have huge knocks to your revenue in terms of walk-ins and pickups. So how do you account for that? And it's pretty simple. You can do it on social media. And I'm sure that doesn't sound like rocket science, or indeed science of any kind, because I'm an idiot and I don't know anything about science. Everybody has seen people posting on Facebook more, sharing some things, hastily coming up with phone-in numbers, etc. And that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is to kind of double down on your brand, showcase what makes you great, and then make sure you're putting the right things in front of the right people at the right time. And this is how we did that with the Kip Chippy. So, pictures tell 1,000 words, right? It's a bit trite, but it's true. You can see more in a photo than you can read, because reading is exhausting and who can be bothered? And if a picture is 1,000 words, a video is one of those drunk people coming up to you in the pub and just shouting in your ear and telling you their entire life story. Except in this particular case, it's a drunk guy that's reminding you about the excellent pizza that you want to get when you get home from the pub because you're also drunk. Remember the pub? How amazing was that? I miss the pub so much. The Kip Chippy thrives on its first class pizzas. It also does a variety of other fried food, but really it's the family recipe tradition Italian pizzas that really make them stand out from the competitors. So if you want to sell more pizzas, if you show people who like pizza nice videos and nice photographs of pizza, they're going to want pizza. You probably want pizza just because I've mentioned the word pizza about 10 times in the last 15 seconds. Just think about how great it would be to get a pizza. You could go order one from the Kip Chippy right now, actually. So step one in this whole process was simply go in and photograph a lot of nice pizzas and take some videos of some nice pizzas being made. And that was kind of it. If you're a food-based small business of any kind, or a pub or a bar, if you showcase your nice food and your nice drink to people, you're laughing. You could get photographers like me to come and do it, though I believe other ones are available, or you can do it yourself. But if you take nice creative and you put it in front of your audience in the right place at the right time, by and large that's through your social networks because that's where your audience are, you're laughing. That's you all the way to the bank. If you make people want your stuff because it looks nice and they feel like you're a nice place to be and there's good word of mouth about you, you just need to keep doing that and doing that over and over and over again. That's the trick. That's it. You can stop watching this video now if you. That's it. That's the trick. I've given away the marketing secret. Just be good. That's it. There you go. No more dark arts. That's it. Second Harry Potter reference. Excellent. Good. So once I shot the photographs and the videos and put them together, it was a case of putting them in front of people. Now, we did that using targeted social advertising, so video onto Facebook, put a call to action on it to order through Just Eat, because that's where the Kip Chippy take their orders from, and then we put it in front of people who we knew would be interested. Now that was done by a couple of things. Facebook lets you target by behaviours, so I targeted people who were more likely to be interested in eating out, had interest in Italian cuisine, had interest in ordering in, who followed things like Just Eat, which indicates that they're much more likely to use the app and they're much likely to order in and they're more interested in particular cuisines. You can then target them by just the interest of being interested in pizza. You can target them by some interest of the kind of people you think want to maybe sit in of an evening, so you could target by TV programmes, etc., that kind of thing as well. And then simply a matter of setting your market by terms of location and age, and gender as well, obviously. So gender, men and women both like pizza. Job done. In terms of age, you're probably looking at about 18 plus to about their 50s. After that, you're probably looking at people who aren't necessarily that technologically savvy. And then from there, location, it's just a simple matter of targeting people within a delivery radius from the shop. Job done. Now, in terms of servicing those ads, we targeted the key times when the shop was open. So we started from half an hour before the shop opened and ran through the evening and did that across the entire weekend. And also, this is a good wee trick actually, if you're working on small budgets, which KipChippy were, in terms of ad spend, because it's really easy to throw your money at Facebook, you can double down on that by sort of double posting. So double posting is a term that I've just made up now, it doesn't mean anything, but what I do is I take the ad and I build it in Facebook's Ads Manager software, and then I'll publish that ad onto the page as an organic post, and this way you get paid for engagement on that post as well as the organic engagement, which means you double down on the piece of content. And whenever you do that, the more engagements you get in a piece of content, the more likely it is to engage your audience, the more likely they are to see it, and the more likely they are to interact with it. So you get to hit two kind of aspects of your funnel, one being the paid for audience who are a lot colder, and one being the warmer audience who already follow your page at once, and get twice the results for a much smaller budget, which is a really excellent way for businesses that have kind of built a bit of a community on their page, for them to capitalise on that and keep their ad spend quite low and not give all your money to Facebook, who are ultimately horrible people, really. Just a quick drop in for a bit I almost forgot about when I was talking about the targeting. As well as the interest-based targeting, we also use lookalike and custom audiences. So by doing that, we took data from the audiences that have already interacted with the KipChippy before, and we used that to build audiences of people who resembled those people on Facebook, as they are much more likely to convert from a cold audience into a warm audience in terms of the funnel, which I'll put here. In this case, a cold audience, people who have never interacted with the KipChippy before; a warm audience being people that follow the page and maybe engage with some content word now and again; a hot audience being people who are heavily engaged and quite heavily engaged with the page's content and frequently order; and then converted leads are people who have ordered this time from this particular campaign. So the lookalike audiences, the interest audiences, primarily fill up the cold part of the funnel. The warmer part of the funnel, we use a custom audience of people who are already engaged with the page, and that's also part of this custom audience targeting. And then that pushes everybody further down the funnel to this ultimate goal, which is to buy a pizza, which I would kill for a pizza right now. So much. I just want a pizza. So results. We did pretty well. Across the 2-week period we ran the campaign for, the ads were seen 13,000 times by 6,000 people within the target demographics, which is great. We were also able to grow the audience of the KipChippy by 268 page likes across that 2-week period, which was excellent, bringing them to well over 1,000, which makes them a much more legitimate looking page, and also means that we have a much larger audience to reach with the organic content, which we've continued since while wrapping down the paid stuff, and we're still seeing similar levels of engagement. Speaking of engagement, we were able to get the engagement down to a penny per engagement. So for every penny that the business spent, somebody watched a video, clicked a link, clicked the like button, shared the post to their own news feeds, which was a great piece of brand awareness, and we were able to do that for extremely cheap. For every 9 pence the KipChippy spent, we were able to drive somebody off of Facebook or Instagram onto Just Eat, and because we had specifically targeted only users on mobile, because that's where the Just Eat app is and where people are more likely to order from Just Eat, we reduced the friction significantly. So one click would essentially allow them to order from the KipChippy directly, which meant they were much more likely to convert. And in terms of how that then translated into orders, they were stowed and at full capacity for a few weeks in a row. Now part of that is obviously down to the campaign, but a large part of it is purely down to the fact that the KipChippy have great food and they put it out to people, and the word of mouth and the customer service is first class, and ultimately no amount of fancy marketing is going to make up for that. You can't just target the right people and then deliver them stuff that's no good and hope that they're going to keep coming back, because they won't, and they will tell everybody they know that they won't be coming back. So there's a balance to be found here between traditional kind of customer service and customer value propositions and also digital strategy stuff. The other key part to managing this was I spent some time indulging in some community management for the KipChippy page. So during the busy periods, we made sure to reach out and respond to every single DM and every single comment when people were finding Just Eat to be overwhelmed or not quite getting through, or there was more enthusiasm than the Chippy was able to fulfill. And by doing that, we then made sure the community didn't feel they'd been ignored. They didn't feel that they were getting a poor service, and actually it helped invoke a lot of understanding and goodwill for the company that translated continuously into more orders. The more you can engage with your community, the better results you'll see, and sometimes that might mean telling them that you're too busy to do something. That's okay. If you tell them that, you're honest about it, they'll probably be willing to try and come back earlier next time to make sure, because they know they want your product, not just because the product's great, but also because the service is first class, and people really value that. And fancy videos, fancy photography, fancy targeting, the dark arts of tracking and all that will never make up for that if your proposition is flawed in that initial way. And so that's it in a nutshell. Basically, if you're a food-based business, get nice photos, get some nice videos of your stuff, put it in front of people and make sure it's the right people in the right place at the right time, and you'll be laughing. If you're interested in speaking to me about any of these things, you can visit my website, calmcmillanphotography.com. You can find me on my social networks at calmcmillanphoto, or you can leave a comment down below. You can also call me a cuck or whatever else you would like to do. That would be great. I would love all of that. But if you could, like, subscribe, all the kind of thing that you normally do for the real famous YouTubers that I'm bound to become almost any day now, that would be great.